From a guy who was drafted over Luka Doncic to someone who we're seeing taking the Warriors back to title glory. Today, Fadeaway brings you 10 NBA successors that failed miserably. And at number 10, we have someone who was once hailed as the second coming of basketball greats, like Chris Bosh, Patrick Ewing, and even Anthony Davis. Yes, the pre-draft buzz had fans giddy with anticipation, no pun intended. Yet, reality has been a harsh wake-up call. Hindered by knee injuries, James Wiseman's court time has been limited to a mere 84 games over 3 seasons. Things got so bad he was traded to the Detroit Pistons midway through the 2022 season, leaving many fans scratching their heads as the Warriors are still on the market for an actual center till this day, yet they still traded Wiseman. And while players like LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, and Tyrese Maxey, players who got drafted after Wiseman, have been shining bright like a diamond, it has been a lost role for Wiseman, often looking lost in an already weak Pistons defense. Now, talk about looking lost. NBA fanatics will give you guys only one name: Zion Williamson. Oh my God. The never-ending saga of Zion Williamson. It's like a popcorn-worthy drama that keeps unfolding with each passing day. Ever since he was crowned the number 1 draft pick in 2019, expectations have been sky high. But ever since he's entered the league, he's been more sizzle than steak, leaving fans and critics alike scratching their heads. He has never been up to the mark, and injuries coupled with his attitude meant that Zion has been a heartthrob of critics. The New Orleans Pelicans prodigy has found himself in the crosshairs, with veterans pointing fingers at what they see as missteps in his approach. But the buzz isn't just about his on-court performance. It's about his off-court antics as well. Some say his behavior lacks polished finesse we expect from a rising star. His weight issues are well known, and lack of development in his game since being drafted has constantly hindered his performances. If you think about it, the Zion Williamson that was drafted back in 2019 plays exactly the same as the one we see today. Something similar has been going on with Ben Simmons. And although the guy is lean and agile, his attitude is blah. After being drafted number 1 overall in 2016 with the Philadelphia 76ers and instantly drawing comparisons to none other than the King himself, this LeBron James successor also failed to maintain his performances, eventually falling out with the Sixers. But not before the Sixers gave him a whopping $177 million contract extension over 5 years by the end of his sophomore stint in 2018-2019. Money talks, and it was shouting Simmons' name from the rooftops. But as the saying goes, more money means more expectations. Big contracts come with bigger responsibilities. Fast forward to the 2021 season, and things took a twist. With a hefty $33 million payday on the line, Simmons found himself dancing with fines left and right thanks to a touch of inconsistency and some unplanned time off. And that ended another tale of a perceived poster boy of the NBA who is nowadays struggling to even stay relevant in the league. Pretty much like our guy at number 7, Marvin Bagley. Amongst the draft buzz featuring stars like Luka Doncic, Trae Young, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Sacramento Kings' decision to snag Bagley at 2nd overall left many bewildered. It felt like a missed alley-oop for the franchise. But mind you, Bagley was talented, and some people even thought he was the next big thing. After all, he was the 2nd overall draft pick. Bagley had all the physical prowess to dominate the court, but staying healthy seemed to be his kryptonite. Injuries plagued his career, with a season never seeing him lace up for more than 62 games. A bitter reality for the Kings faithful. But the Kings are not alone when it comes to drafting failures. The Suns are right there with them. It's a rarity in the NBA to score the exact top 4 draft picks in consecutive years and fumble both opportunities. But hold my beer, leave it to the Phoenix Suns to defy the odds. Just a season after the Bender blunder, the Suns swung for the fences with Josh Jackson with the 4th pick. And whilst Jackson's flame didn't fizzle out as fast as Bender's, his journey was far from smooth sailing. Sure, he notched some decent stats, averaging 12 points and a steal per game, but a 2-year stint followed by a swift trade spoke volumes about his fit with the team. The off-court drama didn't do him any favors, with a particularly eyebrow-raising involvement with an attempted VIP entry at a hip-hop concert. And instead of blossoming into the potential all-star mini envisioned, Jackson found himself bouncing around the league like a basketball on a game night. His latest gig? A brief stint with the Stockton Kings in 2023, where he suited up for just one game before hitting the waiver wire. Well, Darko Milicic, the towering titan with all the markings of an NBA superstar, also went through something similar in 2003. Yes, we are back in the history books, but success turning into failure was a known principle even back then. Milicic was plucked from the draft heavens by the Detroit Pistons at the second overall pick in 2003, right after one LeBron James. The hype was real, folks. With his impressive size, skill, and athleticism, Milicic seemed destined for great, but reality had other plans. Despite a decade-long stint in the league, his stats have fell woefully short of the mark, averaging a modest 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block per game. Problem? Milicic struggled to adapt to the rough and tumble world of the NBA, drawing criticism for his lack of aggression, intensity, and work ethic. Maybe things will be different now as the league is soft as Charmin. Anywho, to add salt to the wound, Milicic was chosen ahead of future Hall of Famers Carmelo Anthony, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. Many of you know already. It's a bitter pill for Pistons fans to swallow, knowing they missed out on a trio of basketball legends. The next guy is also someone whose stats fooled a lot of people. Anthony Bennett, a basketball dynamo with the versatility to score inside and outside, was a force to be reckoned with during his long season at UNLV, averaging an impressive 16 points and 8 rebounds per game. He caught the eye of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who made him the first overall pick in the 2013 draft. However, hindsight being 2020, and upon closer inspection, Bennett's college stats might have been a tad bit inflated thanks to the competition in his conference. Inconsistency, fitness woes, and injuries threw a wrench into his NBA dream. While his draft class included stars like Victor Oladipo, CJ McCollum, and the one and only Giannis Antetokounmpo, you see, it's tough to succeed when you have such competition. Just ask Hasheem Thabeet. Standing 7'3", he was a force to be reckoned with during his time at the University of Connecticut, having an outstanding sophomore season, averaging double-double stats of 10 points, 7 rebounds, and almost 5 blocks per game. He was a nightmare matchup for opponents. The Grizzlies reacted quickly and drafted him with the second overall pick in the 2009 draft, passing up on future stars like James Harden, Steph Curry, and DeMar DeRozan. The hope was high, the anticipation palpable. This was the big man destined to dominate the paint, right? Well, not exactly. The Beach's transition into the NBA proved to be a tough ride. Despite his imposing stature, his offensive arsenal left much to be desired. He had a limited array of post moves and a scoring touch that you wouldn't bat an eye. And while his speed and physicalities were impressive in college, they failed to level up in the big leagues. The result? Well, the Beast's NBA journey was marked by struggles and setbacks, with just 20 starts in 224 games. A far cry from the impact expected of a second overall pick. But what can we say of second overall picks when the first ones are failing as well? Yes, back in the day, drafting Markelle Fultz with the first overall pick seemed like a slam dunk for the Philadelphia 76ers, although I personally was never impressed with Fultz. Unfortunately though, Fultz's journey took an unexpected detour. His rookie season was marred by a pesky shoulder injury, limiting him to just 14 games on the court. And then came the infamous forgetting how to shoot saga, leaving the Sixers frustrated, and Fultz finding himself in the running for the title of most disappointing first overall draft pick. At 24 now, Fultz may not be living up to the lofty expectations of a first pick, but there's still plenty of basketball left in the tank. as his last season was good, having been traded to the Orlando Magic, averaging 14 points, 5 assists, and just under 4 rebounds per game with a steal a night. At least he's still in the NBA, because the guy at number 1 doesn't even play in the NBA no more. The downfall was that bad. The Phoenix Suns added the Croatian sensation Dragan Bender with the 4th overall pick, eager to bolster their young talent alongside Devin Booker. Things though took a bleak turn quickly, as his NBA journey didn't quite live up to the hype, averaging a modest 5 points, 3 rebounds, and shooting a dismal 39% from the field. Not from 3, from the field. This is not a guard. This is a big man shooting 39%. That's insane. His 3-year stint with the Suns, he failed to make the splash fans had hoped for. Eventually, Phoenix decided to part ways, decline his player option, and let him walk into free agency. After brief stints with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Golden State Warriors, Bender's NBA chapter closed at just 22 years old. He took his talents overseas, signing with the Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Israel Basketball Premier League in 2020. But even this didn't work. And in August of 2022, Bender found himself making moves again, this time joining the Spanish League. And while we know some guys just don't live up to the expectations placed on them, others do. And if you want to know how good Reggie Miller was actually, just click right here.